retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab it, then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Take the thing to see. Just like a weed, spread into the streets. Time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip gods into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
And the Hulk rips it down the track.
Ooh, look at James go.
Look at him go. Welcome back, everybody, to the ADRL Podcast on Thursday night.
There we go.
There it is. Not that it's on any other night.
You never know.
You never know. I don't know if anybody caught the, I'm sure actually a whole lot of people caught the Tuesday night podcast. That was pretty cool. Mike, there's Mike.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
First in the chat.
How about that Tuesday night podcast, dude? That was pretty weird. Can we write into them and let them know, like, just what happened? Like, that was kind of bizarre, dude. It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, agree.
I don't know.
I agree. 2 out of 3, or what? I guess the other one was a little scary at the point.
I feel like maybe if
the scary thing I did find out after the fact. When we were down there, standing in the spot when we were trying to find Scary, it was during that partial eclipse.
Oh yeah, like the 3. It's like the full moon, the super harvest moon with the partial eclipse, and something else. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yes, we were at that spot right about the totality of that, so that was a little bit interesting. But that first one, nobody can deny we hit it with that car.
Oh, dude, that was. I mean,
yeah. If you didn't watch, check it out. It was interesting. We played a game, Randonautica. It's an app. You think it's all fun and games? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I thought it was fun and games until I said, well, watch us run across the hot rod or something, blah, blah, blah. Who knows, right? I mean, you can watch the video. I'm not bullshitting. And
That's
then
what we manifested
15 minutes later, boom.
right where they said it was going to be.
I mean, and dude, the fact that it's not in a garage, it's sitting outside next to a house in an alley. There's no other cars pretty much anywhere. I mean, it just, the odds of that happening were like just crazy.
Pretty far fetched.
Mm-hmm.
But
there you go. I'm
not sure if she's already out there, but happy birthday to Brianna. Little Brianna
Happy
Sullivan.
birthday, Brianna Sullivan.
Amanda Hoover as well.
Oh, and Amanda. Speaking of
day.
which,
Big day.
our sponsors, Chris Duncan Race Car, Amanda Hoover and Chris Duncan. They are Dayco dealers. And if you don't have a Dayco belt, get one so you too can have a Dayco day.
Boy, I sure wish they sold AC belts because I could use a Dayco AC belt because my AC has shot shit.
Yay, Brianna.
We got up to 91 in the house today. It's a great steamy day out here in St. Charles. We're all feeling great and have a nice layer of sweat.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find units in those palatial estate type of mansion things you got. I mean, I didn't even know they could retrofit those things with AC units.
You'd be amazed what money can buy.
Yeah, right. Well, get ready for another dump of money trying to put a new one in. Holy cow, they're going to need cranes and all kinds of shit.
That's where I'm hoping good old friends or somebody like that will help out or whatever. We'll see.
We'll see. However, let's get back to it. Welcome back. Thursday night. I'm Dr. Fears.
I'm Prince Adam.
And it is another episode of ADRL the podcast. We want to thank our Dan, what's good?
Dan.
We want to thank our very loyal and awesome sponsors, Renegade Racing Fuels, Toby Baptiste and his awesome, actually, not only does he have a dragster, he's got a really cool, I don't know, is that car a bracket? I don't think it's a bracket car, but I think it might be a 470 car, 450 car. It's a really, really cool car. Chuck, what's good, man? He's got a really, really nice, it's as nice as the purple dragster, if not nicer. And I think it's a 450 or 470 car, one of the two. I mean, it's all carbon fiber. It's purple. It's beautiful, man. It's good. It's good. Boobs. But it's really nice. Anyways, Toby, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate Renegade Racing Fuels, Fuel Tech, Luis, and Fuel Tech, and Chris Duncan Race Cars. Those are our proud sponsors, and we'll have more next year. If you weren't watching the last podcast, you would kind of know what I was hinting at.
That is true.
Not Tuesday nights, last Thursday.
Yeah. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, all
right. So let's catch up on, boy, it's been a busy week. Yeah. It's a lot going on.
But
had a lot of conversations with a lot of great people. As most people already know, and we've been getting a whole lot of feedback and questions and emails regarding it, is the fact that we have decided to add funny cars to our dragster class. Now,
expand the class a little bit.
Yeah, expand the class a little bit and make it fun for the spectators, and it'll be a good time. However, keep this in mind. In the event, or in case we do end up having a whole lot of funny cars show up, we will have a separate class, So this isn't a permanent thing. We're just trying to diversify that class just a little bit. And we know it's not historically all in one class, funny cars, altereds, and dragsters. But, I think it'll be kind of cool. And from what I understand is, it's kind of an even playing field. If not, the funny cars might have a little bit of a disadvantage from what I understand. However, I'm probably sure some of those top alcohol funny car guys would disagree. I don't know. We'll see. Just throwing a little shit talking out there.
Only one way to find out.
That's right. Other than that, we're getting ready for Huntsville, October 25th and October 26th, Rocket City Drags. It is going to be a great way. Yes, Clyde is back in tonight. Yes. Let's see. Drive a Pro Mod or funny car for. Damn it, I can't read it.
Boy, I could actually think of a Pro Mod car that I would love to see you drive.
I'm willing to drive a Pro Mod or funny car for who?
For someone if they have a winning car.
If they have a winning car.
Yeah, Clyde's saying if someone's out there's got a car that would give him a chance of winning, give him a call.
Okay. Yeah, well, I will keep that in mind. There might be a couple, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, there might be somebody.
I'd love to get Clyde out there in somebody's car. That'd be awesome. Clyde would drive the shit out of anything.
Yeah.
He will literally drive the wheels off of anything.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. However, so look, it's exciting. We're getting close. And then following right after that, with pro mods, dragsters, and floppers, what a show for the spectators. Something that not's happened in years. Well, that's what we're doing, Mr. Lucas. That is the goal. What is the cost to get into Huntsville track weekend? Y'all be there.
As far as a spectator,
spectators is $30 to park.
Yeah.
So it's free.
Motorcycle to motor home.
Yeah, motorcycle to motor home, Volkswagen Bug to tour bus. Doesn't matter. $30. So bring yourself and pay 30, or bring
more people. You bring, the more savings for you.
It doesn't matter. Yes. So that's the incentive.
System.
That's the incentive. Keeps money in your pocket. Allows you to buy merchandise from the racers, spend a little money at the concessions,
have fun.
Buy some ADRL gear, have some fun, leave a little money in your pocket. But yes, it's $30 a park.
Let's throw some bets around.
Yeah, we got some. Clyde was already talking some hot stuff happening at XRP.
I don't know if Hank may have missed the episode last week, but I sure as hell haven't heard anything from him on the $1,000 challenge of Trolson versus Subs.
I haven't either. He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy.
Yeah. He'll get to it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Can't be that he's ignoring it. That wouldn't be the case.
No, not at all. I know we try to
poke.
I know that we try to keep everything ADRL related, which I like, because this is the ADRL podcast. I mean, the drag racing field's so huge. We'll leave all of that up to like Wes and TJ. They can handle the whole
they're getting coverage
industry. They can cover the rest of all of it. But boy,
coverage here.
Boy, they are bringing the heat on Flow Racing again. Are you seeing that?
On which side of it?
Oh, apparently it's they're
Oh.
apparently the stream is all jacked up again, and people are pissed.
Hold on, let me search for my shocked face real quick.
Yeah, right. Well, everybody's like, "Where's the NC Pro Modder Batman?"
It's back here, man. He's got my shocked face.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean that's been the situation. That's been the MO of Flow Racing from day one. I mean, you can look at any Reddit, you can look at anywhere. You Google Flow Racing, and in the first 5 searches, that's what you're going to find, is somebody that's upset that they pay as much as they have to for the yearly subscription, and they get as little viewing of the racing as they get. That's right. The thing that doesn't really chat my ass about, but the kind of the extra stab to it is you got guys out there like NC Pro Modder who are out there and doing the damnedest for the entire drag racing community, covering races. He's got fans, he's got followers, but the guy can't do his thing on those events, and he gets to do some testing and things like that. And fortunately, as we all know, he's saved Flow Racing's ass in the past on a couple of races where they've fumbled the bag, and he's been able to be there to present their show. But I'm just a lowly producer. I don't know anything. These are all just feelings and thoughts and opinions solely of myself, not of the ADRL as a whole.
Yeah, that's right. Keep it to yourself, dude. No, that was funny. Good disclaimer. Well, I will tell you this. There were some folks that were trying to defend, or that were defending Flow Racing, saying that, I guess Keith Haney wanted his crew to do it, and so on and so forth. And what's it say? So funny cars can be faster.
So funny cars can be faster than pro mods. They are max overdrive and PSI screw blower, legal funny cars, or PSI D blowers. And
D blowers.
Drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Very funny. but here's what's up, Nick? But and apparently, I guess what it is that Keith, it's all scuttlebutt, man. I'm not trying to do the he said, she said thing. The bottom line is people paid. Whatever happened from Flow and down is what it is. And get NC Pro Modder out there if the ball's being dropped. Let him do his thing.
He's there. He's ready. And the guy's on point. He's got a little 3-camera setup he's been rolling this weekend, and he's stepping his game up every time. So
good.
Watch out, Flow Racing.
Watch out, Flow. Watch out, Flow. And for some other up and comers, we won't mention any names at the moment. Maybe we could, maybe we should, maybe we won't. I don't know. However, there are some other guys out there doing the same thing. Yeah. I mean, this isn't nobody's treading new ground here, unfortunately. Yeah,
but it's just the name of the game with any content. It's about the content that you provide. And if you're not providing content, well, then number one, you've got a problem right there. And then it's the personalities. It's everything that goes within that content. It's not as simple as just showing a race anymore. If you want to get viewers, it's personality.
Mic drop.
Exactly. Speaking of
mic drop. That's right. Mic drop. So as everybody knows, we have a weekly guest, or try to have a weekly guest. And Haley, what's good? I love she says Keller. Can't see or hear what you're saying. Anyways, we do have weekly guests, and I'm excited to have this this weekly guest. Let's go ahead and introduce him, Mr. Mike Generali. Am I saying that right? I say Generali. Geroni.
It's Geroni. Yeah.
Geroni. Oh, man, I'm sorry. You know what? After time in the service and all the different last names, you would think I'd get it right, but
just basically just call me Jabroni and just, whatever.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, I like that. I like Jabroni.
Well, to a degree, we'll allow it. But
no, we'll keep it. I can remember Geroni. It'll be just fine. I'll just have that in the back of my mind. Geroni. Just can't get them switched up, man.
Just insult me like The Rock and you're fine.
Well, welcome to the podcast, man. We're there you go. Clyde Scott says pepperoni.
Yeah, first grade all over again.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Mouth in the West.
Yeah. I don't know, Mike. Do you know Clyde Scott, the owner of Extreme Raceway Park?
I do not.
Man, super cool cat. Serious as could be. One of the baddest drivers out there. And
he can
just
shoot a promo.
He can what?
This guy, and Mike knows what I'm talking about because we were talking a little bit before we came on. But Clyde Scott, one of the best promo cutters out there these days.
Oh man, I'm telling you, man, it's so good. Yeah,
nice.
The guy. Yeah, he's probably as good as they get. But anyways, welcome aboard, man. We're glad to have you here on our podcast on Thursday night.
Yeah, glad to be on with you guys. Glad to be on.
We heard a lot about you in a previous podcast. We were talking about bands and music and after our pit stuff that we were hoping to go on. Nitro AJ.
Hey, AJ.
Up at the Maple Grove last weekend.
Yeah.
Fire. So awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you're on here, and this is going to be a great conversation because I have some questions for you just in general. Sure. It's our first time meeting each other, and so just get a little acquainted. First and foremost, well, I don't know. I'd prefer to go the music route, but since it is the ADRL, we'll talk.
If you can get some of this drag racing crap out of the way, we'll move on to the important.
Let's get the racing shit out of the way here.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, that's right.
Please the masses.
So this is you back here.
Yes.
Pretty awesome ride. And at first I thought, oh, awesome. It's a funny car. And then somebody kind of pointed out to me that it's an altered, and I was like, well, no, it looks like a funny car. And they're like, well, it's basically an open wheel car with a body, so it's an altered. And I was like, I guess so. Like, that's totally badass. I never thought about it. It's almost like a T-bucket or something, man. It's a really cool setup.
Thanks. Well, it's traditional for the altered body it's a 48 Fiat Topolino body. So I kind of call it like a 3/4 funny car with an altered twist, or like it's a crossbreed.
It's a crossbreed, yeah.
Yeah. Because it does have the functionality of a funny car. It's an enclosed cockpit deal, but standard funny car chassis, 125-inch wheelbase. And it's a neat one-off. But the guy that makes that body is based out of Gettysburg. Regal Fiberglass is the company that makes it.
Okay.
And they started making those, I want to say around like 2001, 2002. And there was only one guy at the time in existence that was running them. And the guy was out in California running it out in Bakersfield. I
got family from Bakersfield.
So he had ran the first car, burned that body to the ground, and had a second one. And around the time, my dad was running a 68 Corvette with like a blown 871 big block Chevy on alcohol kind of car. It looked like a goofy gasser kind of thing. So we had that motor combination, and we were thinking about building an altered or a funny car. And then we find that body out there, and we called up the company, and they're saying, yeah, there's only one guy in existence that has it, and you guys would be the second ones to have it. So what we have is actually like the number 3 body they've ever made that's still active and running. Oh,
no kidding. So so you said that is still active and running. So do they still make bodies for people?
They still do.
Okay.
As far as I know, there's one in Florida. The Alessio brothers have the one down in Florida. There was a guy in Germany that was racing one, and he wrecked it. I don't know if he still has the body or if he built the second one. I don't know, but I know of like maybe 3 or 4 other ones that are floating around that I've seen on Racing Junk.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So,
Oh,
so
the
I'm
old
kind
racing
of a nerd for picking out like where these things are and like all right, who's got that body, and just seeing how everybody's different interpretations of it and stuff.
Yeah, because it just comes as just a stripped down fiberglass body, and then
It's all one
Right.
piece, all one piece.
just
Yep.
one piece. So how is it difficult in the pits to remove it? I mean, does it require 4 guys to like lift it off like a hood, the whole thing? And
surprisingly, we're probably the lightest compared to other funny car guys. We probably have shed about a quarter of the weight of what the funny car guys normally would use.
oh wow,
Fiberglass wise, because like at car shows and stuff like that, because we just did like 2 or 3 car shows in the last couple of weeks between Dead Man's Curve and Gasket Goons and stuff. A lot of the guys we run with, we kind of just take a moment to check each other's cars out and such.
Yeah.
And I try to lift everybody's bodies up. It's just like, God, these things are heavy. Why are these things weigh like a freaking tank? And then they come to check mine out, and they see I can lift mine up one-handed. That's how light it is. So I can
They're
literally
like,
do
oh
arm
man,
curls
we're
with
missing
the
the
thing.
boat
So,
here.
yeah. So they're like, Jesus, no wonder why you're freaking lightweight over there. It's like,
Yeah.
keep in mind, with the way the car sits with my ass in it, it's like 2,000 pounds on the nose. So
Oh wow, no shit. How much
it's
horsepower are you pushing? You think?
it's probably just under 2,000 as well. So
That's that's a good ratio, man. You're still moving out.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's probably on par with what would run with like some of the guys in Top Dragster, plus like maybe a little bit like some of the guys that run like a Top Alcohol combo with an altered or whichever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
it's ideal for the exhibition stuff and match racing and nostalgia, where it's like anything goes. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, we know all about anything goes, don't we, PA?
Yep. Very
Yeah,
true.
that's right, baby. That's what the ADRL is all about. So, do you
Nice.
have to pay up for a body that's that light? I mean, like just from a cost standpoint.
I can't say offhand. It's been so long. I want to say yes.
I'd have to imagine so, because you hear the
Yeah.
concern about especially in the ADRL where there are no rules, and
Right.
you have that looming thought. All the participants have that looming thought of somebody with an endless pool of money coming in and just building something so light
okay.
that they
Yeah.
can't ever compete, right? And so
Right.
I associate a very light car to very expensive, because it's either you're using titanium or you developed a certain special body. So I just
Yeah.
associate a light car with
Yeah.
expensive.
I mean, everybody just treats us the same as everybody else. That's usually how it is out here with what we're doing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like originally the thing was that my dad was the original driver of the car from 2003 when we had it built to, I'm going to say end of 2011 was the last time he had driven it. And he was only just doing bracket racing with it. He was entering it in like Super Pro, because the thing was only running like 7.0s, like 7.10s with no problem.
Oh,
And,
gotcha.
yeah. So it wasn't until that I started driving it that we had, well, right before I started driving it, he had put up the 4-hole Hillborn combo, which is the one that's used in the one picture. So for like the old school aesthetic, and we finally got that to run in like the 690s and such. So
Oh wow.
it was right around that. It was right around that time my dad wanted to start making the switch over to match racing, and he had a health scare that came up, and ultimately parked his ability to drive the car for some time. So I had been out of racing for some time. I got my license at Doug Foley's. Then about 2 months later, did the crossover in the car, and pretty much my goal was, let's pick up where we left off and do what the thing was designed to do. Let's go run against some other funny cars and stuff and go have some fun, do some match racing. So
now Doug Foley, is that a school or is that a track?
it's a school. Yeah.
It's a school. I mean,
Yeah.
excuse my ignorance. Don't.
Yeah. All good. But I don't even think he owns a school anymore. I think he sold it off to somebody else. The last time he was operating it, it was still, and as far as I know, it's still called Pure Speed Drag Racing Experience.
Okay.
So they still offer up like learn to drive a 4-link dragster, but it's got like a small block Chevy thing, and it runs like 10s in the quarter or whichever.
Gotcha. Which is still okay.
Yeah, but I think they still offer their super comp class or whatever licensing program that they they had at the time I was involved with them. So
Oh, gotcha.
at the time I tried out. So yeah.
So you grew up, so you got into this because your dad raced. Was your dad a racer? How far back does racing go in your family?
When I was a sperm. I think racing goes far back. I think the earliest that I know is that apparently my grandfather was involved in roundy round stuff back in like post Korean War efforts and stuff. So he got involved in that. Cool. So my dad and his brothers were all like gearheads, racing boats out in like when they were living in Jersey. And then when they moved to PA, they lived right down the street from a now defunct drag strip called Vargo Dragway. Okay. And it was ran by the Lehigh Valley Timing organization, and they kind of were like loosely based around like with NHRA and stuff at the time. It was a quarter-mile drag strip. My dad used to sneak in as a kid to watch the match races and stuff and see the fuel cars run and whichever. And for that was my dad's exposure to drag racing, and he ended up picking up with the roundy round stuff with his brothers, like doing go-kart racing. And then had a near-death experience wrecking at Pocono when he was making the semi-pro jump, and said, I've had enough going around in circles. I'm going to go straight line racing. Yeah. So he's been following drag racing since he was a kid.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
almost since its inception, I'd imagine. I mean, considering 50s, I guess.
He started, he was still a teen by the late 60s, early 70s. So
gotcha.
It was like right as like that crazy boom of like the match racing funny cars was about to really kick off. Yeah. So that was when he picked up on a lot of that stuff and was like, this is kind of the thing he was all about.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like he just met some friends that were involved in drag racing, a few guys that ran a top alcohol dragster or had like a super gas car or whichever. And he just wanted to just tinker and learn more about it, and he just started working on his 68 Vet that he was driving on the street, and just that eventually turned into like a street to strip car and eventually just full blown drag car. By the time my brother and I were born, it was like that thing was a full blown drag car. So.
Nice. And so how old were you when you had that itch? Like, man, I want to race cars.
Gosh, I think my earliest memory at the track, it was probably like 2 or 3 years old. Sweet, but dude. Yeah, so like, I legitimately mean it when I say I grew up in diapers at a racetrack. So yeah. I think my mom probably has pictures of me, like her pulling me and my brother around in a wagon or something like that. And it's that's at Maple Grove. Yep. That's either at Maple Grove or at Island or Englishtown or one of those places that we used to go to. So.
Now you're up in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
Philadelphia?
About like 45 minutes to an hour away from Philadelphia.
Okay, right. Yeah. My first time in Pennsylvania, my brother was in the Navy, he was stationed up there, and he told me how crazy Philadelphia was, and Pennsylvania was just this crazy state. And I was like, all right. And he goes, dude, it's crazy, the crime, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh. So, I always had these preconceived ideas of what Pennsylvania was like until I went up there. We went to Maine, and we went through the countryside of Pennsylvania. Dude, I was like, come on, man, this is so beautiful out here.
It gets pretty. It gets pretty.
So country and beautiful, man. I mean, I think you're kind of at the end of the Appalachian Mountains up there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they do run straight through the state up into New York. So we're not far from that from here, actually.
Yeah, so. Man. And you got a lot of really cool history there in Pennsylvania, especially getting near the coast and all that good stuff, but so that's cool, man. So do you get a chance to travel much and get out and race now that you've kind of gone full force with this thing? And
a little bit. We're still trying to we want to start expanding a little bit, but we're kind of I wish I could make more of the decision making though. It's still like a family venture with a car between my dad being the car owner and crew chief. Yeah. We have a co-crew chief, Mike Judkins with Avanti Performance Products. He comes out with us all the time. And of course, got to have mom along for the ride and stuff too.
Of course. Yeah.
So pretty much between the 4 to 5 of us that work on the car and whichever, we just get together and just say, how far do we feel like traveling and such? So we have been toying with the idea of wanting to go a little further with the car, explore different tracks and, expand our terrain, if you will.
You know,
Since we're gonna,
Huntsville's a little bit outside, isn't it?
yeah, 13 hours. I looked.
Oh, it is 13
Yeah,
hours.
13,
Jeez, man.
13 hours, and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
I think I mentioned it to my dad. And he's just like, no.
Yeah, no, that's a long
I mean, I don't
way,
know.
man.
I think the closest you guys come to us already, I think, is Rockingham, and I think that's more within reason. So
Yeah. How far is Rockingham from you? The North Carolina, Pennsylvania, 7 hours, 6 hours?
it's about 6. I would say anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, maybe,
Okay,
depending. So yeah.
depending. Are you hitting any mountains between Pennsylvania and North Carolina? Or are you on the east side of them at that point, basically?
I think we're on the east side of them. I'm actually gonna check this real quick since I'm like,
You'd be lucky
now you
if
got me
you
think.
are.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Rockingham and see. That's gonna be about. No, of course we're gonna start here. Come on. Yeah, 8 hours. 8 hours from where I'm sitting at right now. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
even reach. So do you guys do much with, well, no, I guess maybe you do the Northeast Outlaw Pro Mods and those guys up there. I don't know I know they're
Yeah,
booked in show, but I
we
didn't.
usually. Yeah, we usually are kind of like either we're booked in with them at the same kind of events or whichever, but sometimes, I mean, we haven't really done much involving their schedule,
Gotcha.
surprisingly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with the nostalgia racing and the match racing community, we kind of keep to ourselves and have our own little, I don't want to say it's a clique, but it kind of is though. We all kind of network together and just kind of keep it to the same, like 6 to 8 racetracks that are out here in the Northeast region and such. So, there's some that we are lucky enough that everybody gets to go to, and some like half of us get to go to, or whichever.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Maple Grove Raceway's been like a strong staple with us on that. Cecil County is another.
Yeah.
Island Dragway, they have their show coming up. Lebanon Valley in New York. The list goes on. I mean, I think it even expands as far out to even like parts of Ohio and parts of Ohio, parts of Canada, more parts of Maryland and
Canada
Virginia as well. So yeah.
What's it take to get over into Canada? Do you just need to have a passport or something?
I think passport, and one of the guys I was chatting with, they were telling us about this a year ago. You kind of have to have a list of all the things that are in your trailer and stuff. So when you go through customs and stuff like that, there's nothing suspicious or out of the ordinary and such. So like if you're bringing over like a bin of t-shirts and whichever for selling over at that track and whichever, you have to have that documented. Like,
I see.
Pretty much you have to present like a huge document of like, here's what I'm bringing, here's what I'm like, nothing illegal or anything like that.
I heard it was.
There's a good amount of research involved in it, is what I've heard. So.
Yeah, same here. My younger brother, actually, him and some of his fraternity brothers went up north, and I don't know where they were crossing into Canada, but I mean they were probably high. I mean, I don't know back then. who knows? They were fraternity brothers, so they could have been drinking. Right. Who knows? And anyways, ended up in a cavity search. They all got like it was this whole thing, and I was like, oh my god. Like, what the hell did you guys do? And I mean, they're kind of low key kind of guys, but
right.
I thought, wow, Canada's really putting on the pressure, making sure nobody's cavity search. Seems a little excessive, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But so, what's it take to get someone like yourself or a team from the Northeast to head down south? Like, is it monetary?
A little bit. I think there is some. I think a lot of the goal would be like if there was something to sweeten the pot, so to speak. Okay. That's definitely one thing. If it's like for putting on a show, that's definitely the obvious given there.
Yeah.
I'll say for instance with what you guys announced this week, for example, that's definitely enticing. It's definitely that alone is going to be enticing itself, considering how many people out on the eastern part of the US are involved with Funny Car Chaos, right?
Yeah, right.
So, and my whole thing with them has been like, sure, they're so based around Texas and like Louisiana and whatever they try to do in the Midwest and whichever, as they start to come more eastward, and they only come to Maryland once a year.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So, and I think that they only have 3 more outings left. I think they're contracted for 5, I think is the number. So, but yeah, it's just looking for more opportunities
Sure.
to go race and actually be more competitive aside from chaos and events like that.
Gotcha.
So, and I think racers are starting to get the competition bug. They're starting to get that.
You're starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah.
Kinda what I'm hearing.
Myself included. So, cause like the last time being competitive myself was in junior dragsters. So I had been out of it for that long, and about, I think it was not last year, but the season before, actually trying out a competition that they have for just the altereds and slingshots, like, full qualifying ladder and whichever.
Did you say slingshot?
Yeah. Slingshot dragsters, front engine dragsters.
Oh, that's what they're called. Okay.
Yeah.
A front engine dragster is called a slingshot. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Because they try to kind of, what the thing now is up this way, since there's more slingshots than altereds in the Northeast, they try and get us to kind of mingle with them a bit. So
I get it. Yeah.
So they try and run one big field with all of us together that way. And it's a lot of fun. So we all get to qualify, get like 2 or 3 rounds of qualifying in, then try and, go through like 2 or 3 rounds of elimination. So we get to like a final or which, like, kind of like how it is when you see on TV. And it's actually exciting and it's really motivating. Seeing how everybody feels at the end of the day, or once we actually get one full event in our system that way, you can tell that everybody just has fun. Like the smiles on everybody's faces is so worth it.
100%
on the competition side.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like we're all just like, we do the old school thing. We're there to put on a show, and you tell us, okay, there's money on the line. There's a trophy involved. Give us something to race for. It's like this other side just comes out of everybody.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
And I love that. Like I sort of tapping into a part of me that I thought I forgot about a long time ago. And
the competitive side of you.
Yep. It's like, it came right back again, and it came back very naturally. And I'm just like, okay, this is where I belong.
I love it, dude.
I still love the showman side of it though, that I still get to flash that every once in a while, but
sure,
man, like the fact that it hit a nerve with everybody to get competitive again is exciting. And
I love it.
And there's just an energy around it that just makes it makes it more purposeful, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like it creates like a certain level of passion, and you feel it more, right? It's like an energy, like an aura. Yeah. Everybody's kind of converging on one place to,
to mingle and mix it up and say like they want to come home with a trophy. And the thing is that, like, how many of us growing up like dreamed of holding up a Wally? I totally did. Yeah. And I choked every time in juniors when I had the opportunity to, or dropped the ball somehow, or the event no longer had the Wally for a junior dragster class or whichever. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, I still want to try and do stuff like that, and just to find opportunities like that along the way has been a personal goal of mine, whether I do it with the Fiat or I, become a hired gun for somebody is another goal. So,
I mean, there's a few options for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a weird question for you. Is there really a road that crosses the track at the end of Maple Grove Dragway?
There is, right? There is. There really is.
How is that possible?
Okay, so
what would you be thinking if you're driving? You like look to your left. Jesus Christ!
The turnoff runs alongside the road. So So like they have like railroad crossing gates whenever a set of cars comes down.
Okay.
So like as soon as a set of cars like crosses the stripe,
right,
those arms drop down. They have a guy down at the bottom end that's directing traffic. They're like,
get the hell out of here.
They have a guy that's at the bottom end. I kid you not. He directs the traffic of the cars coming down the track to say that one makes the turn off first, and then that guy's got to follow second. It's actually a great safety thing, honestly. Like,
sure,
they've had that for as long as I can remember, honestly. But they started adding the railroad crossing thing. I want to say maybe like 15, 20 years ago.
I mean,
I could be wrong,
but traveled road. So I wouldn't imagine that there's.
Yeah, there's a bump. So like if you have an out of control car, my dad can attest to this because my dad has hit this. If you have a throttle hang up and you go across the track and into the sand pit, you hit that bump, you're full on Dukes of Hazzarding it right into the sand pit. So
hopefully the sand is deep.
Yeah, it is. Yep, it totally is. It's pea gravel, and my dad had the misfortune of taking the car into that.
Oh
one
my
time, so-
gosh.
And
That's crazy.
it is it's wild. But since then, they've actually have paved it so it's more level.
Okay.
And they actually moved the gravel pit or sand pit further back, so they were able to buy up some more land and kind of extend that a little further.
Okay.
You know, when we talk, that's an interesting, great question, Adam. I don't know how you figured that out, but
I'm
that
looking
was-
at the map. I was like, hey, is this a track we can
I
possibly
figured
go to
probably.
up there?
Yeah, I figured he was probably
Totally.
Maple
Maple Grove
Grove's
will be
about-
all over this.
about 3,148 feet from the starting line, but who'd know?
Yeah.
Who would know? So when I was talking about incentivizing, or when you were looking at the purses and thought that
Yeah.
was kind of incentivized, you know, as I go along and because I have no experience on that side, on this side of on your side of the fence as a competitor, as a racer, right? I mean, I did
Mhm.
grow up going to a track down the road, but I never was involved with creating purses. And, you know, I have created like pay structures and compensation plans and bonus structures and stuff for previous companies that I've owned. So it's kind of similar. However, there's still things that I'm learning, and I look at the purses and I kind of look at it and think, oh man, it's sort of top heavy. It's kind of this, the only way I could describe it is I feel like it may be a little top heavy. And
Mhm.
how do you think, let me think of how I'm going to word this. If I'm a racer and I know I'm not like a Bubba Stanton or a Frankie Taylor or a,
Mhm.
the top tier elite guys, right? But I still want to
Mhm.
compete, but I know that I'm probably going to fall out in the semis or something, right?
Right.
Do you think it's possible, maybe it is it possible for some guys that aren't quite to that elite status but still want to participate to look at that purse and go, man, it's paying a lot for the winner and the runner up, but like the semis and the quarters and stuff just
Yeah, it's
really
kinda
aren't paying that much?
Yeah.
Does
What's
that
more
like
attractive
deter
from a racer's
some
side?
people,
Yeah.
or how do you do you make the spread closer, or for like how to, or I mean, I guess it is what it is. I don't know.
I mean, I don't really have much intel on that, but it's what you'd expect. I mean, I don't know. I'm totally the wrong person to answer this
Oh,
question.
no, it's okay.
honestly.
I just wonder
Yeah,
if you look at the purses and go, "Oh, the winning seems
Yeah, I mean,
decent,"
if
but
from-
like if
from a
I'm not going to be
There
the
are
number
times-
one guy,
There are times, but I mean, and the thing is that it doesn't matter with like what kind of equipment you have. Is I guess I look at from the show perspective of like, is that guy gonna put on a decent show, or is this group gonna put on a decent show together?
yeah,
I look for like what I like is I like close racing, and I like exciting racing. I like the kind of stuff where, if me and a competitor are going to go out and have some fun and like actually run for something, we try to make sure we have as much fun doing it, kind of like a wrestling match kind of deal. Like who's going to do
Yeah.
a more flamboyant move or whichever. And in that case, in our speak, it's like who's going to do a longer burnout, who's going to do dry hops and whichever. So
what's a dry hop?
oh, you chirp the tires. You chirp the tires before you're like, it's like a dry burnout. Basically, you're not staying on it long. You're just okay. So you pretty much like say you back up from the burnout.
Mm-hmm.
You back up far enough. You put the car in gear, like say first or second, whichever. Just pump the brake real hard and just smack the throttle the one time, and the car will just kind of do a weird little hop. So
Oh, gotcha. I've
Yeah.
actually seen that in old school NHRA rate. Like
that was
like,
a norm.
they're like,
Yeah,
wow, it was the norm.
yeah.
It's kind of
Mhm.
like, but they
Yeah,
don't do
the-
that anymore. They just do their burnouts,
still-
back up, pull in, and hit it.
Some of us still do that.
That's cool,
and,
man.
And people get off on it every time.
Yeah.
So can you literally hop? Can you literally like bunny hop
Yep.
off the ground?
Yep. There are people that do it.
Hmm.
There are people that do it. And
Oh, that's
I
cool.
don't really do it. I've never done it. I've tried a couple of times though. I still got to perfect it somewhat,
Man, we should do that, Adam. We should offer $500 to the highest dry hop. I don't know. That might tear some shit up.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
See,
People are like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Pro
dude."
mod trying to do a dry hop. Let's see that.
Yeah, probably not going to go over so well.
Mhm.
Probably not going to go over so well. All right, so we're going to get into the next part of our segment, or let me say, this is my segment that I use.
It's called
that
What
I
You
like.
Got Over Your Shoulder.
What you got over your shoulder? That's right.
That big black looming thing behind me there. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's so I call this In the Groove, and as a lot of people know after watching the podcast, I am a musician myself, and I love music. So what I like to ask is, when you're getting ready, you're in the garage and you're working on your car, or even more, what are you listening to kind of get yourself pumped up before you put on your suit and get in the ride and you're getting yourself going? Because I see you're a musician, and if you're anything like me, there's certain genres, maybe certain songs I can listen to every time, and it just gets me rocking, and then it'll just keep going in my head, and I'm like, come on, let's get it. So what are you listening to?
Well, I listen to a little bit of everything for sure.
But to get you going, to get your blood going a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I listen to a lot of like punk rock stuff or like post-hardcore kind of stuff. Something
cool.
It varies. It depends on the weekend, or depends on the event, or whatever's happening.
Yep.
Or the current crisis.
Yeah. Depending on the crisis, whichever speaks to the soul,
That's right. That's right.
So like, I guess for instance though, like, I mean, I love listening to bands like Beartooth.
Beartooth is brutal, man. They're a great band.
They're one of my all-time favorites right now.
Yeah, they're super good.
I was listening to We Came as Romans at work today. That they're a band I totally forgot about. AFI, Ice Nine Kills.
Oh man, I saw them. I was like, what the heck? Because they opened for
Metallica recently.
With the Pantera, that tour, and I'd never heard of Ice Nine Kills. And dude, their whole theatrical approach to their show is just totally great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a cool band.
Yeah. But between them, Ghost, one of my favorite.
There you go, Adam.
I thought we were friends. I thought we were gonna get along so well.
Sorry. I love Ghost.
Sorry, Ghost is up there for me. Ghost,
dude, are they not?
I don't get it.
They are so good live. I mean, I'll say this. I can understand it as a person that went to Catholic school and understand a lot of the religious stuff, and realize how much they're parroting it is like perfect. I'm like, somebody did their homework. And I'm all for it,
Oh man, they're so good. They're so good. And
the music doesn't
not to mention the gothic horror stuff. So that's an easy given for me too. So
yeah, the musicianship of that band, and look, you can maybe not like the imagery or the singer or whatever, or maybe even the style on some of those songs, because a lot of the songs are a little different, right? Which is great, because I don't know if you've ever picked up on like Metallica solos, and they'll always throw in little nuggets from back in the day in their music. Exactly. But man, they are absolutely amazing at writing songs, just generally structuring songs, writing songs, and damn, they're a good band.
But like other stuff, like, I mean, the easy one that, like, I think together as a team, when we're going out to a track or something, we're all collectively blasting AC/DC.
There you go. I mean, that's just
AC/DC
as raw as it gets.
AC/DC is as raw as it gets. Still the loudest concert I've ever been to.
I've heard friends of mine have said the same thing.
Yeah. I had it depends on whether you call it the fortune or misfortune of seeing them when Axl Rose was singing, and it was okay. It was an okay experience.
Oh, boy.
I'll say that. But I will say this though, you do have to give Axl some credit for picking up his vocal influence from Bon Scott, because he nailed those flawlessly.
Really? Did he?
He did.
Okay.
I definitely suggest checking that out, going down that YouTube rabbit hole for sure.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was being there in person. I was like, I kind of know what to expect with the Brian Johnson stuff. It's like, but then I was just like, okay, as soon as they launched into the Bon Scott era stuff, you were like,
dang, it sounds so good.
I'm like, okay, now we're talking. But then the guitar nerd in me is just like in awe at Angus's tone live in person. Just like, I have my earplugs in, but it sounds so good. And it's like, and 3 days later, my ears are still ringing.
Oh man, after playing in bands for the past 30 years and never wearing hearing protection. It's like my eardrums are like broke in at this point, I should say. And so I just have built-in hearing protection. I don't wear them on the starting line. I just, and look, I can hear fine. What? What? I was kidding. But yeah, it's interesting. I hear people wearing hearing protection and I'm just like, man.
If it's not that, like my current thing right now is something I'm wearing right now. Ear monitors. So these things have been.
You mean these?
Oh yeah, yeah. Ah, nice. You got them. Sweet.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, I made the change.
Too, but
I made the change about like 4 years ago. I switched over to those and haven't looked back since.
Until after a while, it feels like your ear holes are being raped. You're like, oh
yeah,
they're on fire.
So sore.
Between that and it's just like, as a vocalist, you can actually hear yourself sing and not like
for sure
not over sing because like the wedge monitor isn't loud enough or something. So
yeah, it's
like right now, just like I'm just speaking like normal. Otherwise, it kind of be like, I might speaking too close to this thing, or maybe I should be way back here. Yeah.
No, it's
like now you actually have a better sense of mic control.
Yeah, so, and you can hear your inflection, and you just get I love it, man. And you can
work on your delivery.
Yeah, that's right. I wish I could sing, son of a bitch. But you know what? Hey, I can play guitar, so that's all that matters. What are your thoughts on Mastodon?
They're okay. I'm not a super fan, but I've listened to their stuff enough to be familiar with it. I will say they impressed me with their cover of Stairway to Heaven.
Man. I heard that last year. I came across it. I was like, oh, wow.
They really impressed me with that. I'm like, okay, that actually works within my vocal range, singing it wise. Because I've tried doing Robert Plant's voice, and it's like, it's a stretch. Depends on the day if I can hit it. But then there are days I'm like, not feeling it. That's in a lower key. Okay, let's try that. All right, that's comfortable. So,
do you ever find yourself singing when you're in your hot rod, suited up with your helmet on? You're like ready to go. Are you just like
probably
or singing something like I don't know.
Probably the calm down. If not that, I'll do it just to screw with the guys on the starting line, since I have the radio in the car, like the driver crew radio. Since I have the microphone in my helmet, my earbuds in there, so I can radio to my guys as we wait for a run or something. Or one of the guys will chime in or say something silly, and I'll pick up where they left off at or something. But no, if you want to upset me in the car, grab one of the radios and chime in and say, play Freebird. And I'll just be like, no.
Oh, Freebird?
I'll be just like, click, not talking to me for the next 5 minutes.
No Freebird.
No Freebird for you.
That's hilarious, man. So tell me about your rig back there. You got two vintage 30s. You have an AB. You have your flat cab, your slanted cab, and then
what we have
is that a JCM?
We have an AVT 150H. It's a Valve State 2000 head, 4-channel head. That was my original Marshall that I used. And sitting on top of that, I'll try and tilt this here. Hopefully the light will come around. But you see there's another Marshall head hiding up there.
Oh, I see it.
The red guy up there. That's a 1986 MOSFET 100. It's a 100-watt solid-state amp wrapped in red vinyl. And
I bet that's got a good sound.
That actually has the better sound, in my opinion. But I was telling, I think I was telling Adam before we went live, I was telling him, the thing with the Marshall amps is that I found they're very mid-rangey.
Yeah, they are.
Or very high-end. And I've always have used overdrive pedals that had like a bass boost just to try and bring the bottom end around. And haven't been satisfied with it. So it's like, it was great to start out with my first band, and it was ideal at the time, but since then I've kind of drifted away from it. So my current rig, which is in the basement, I'm using I gotta remember the name of it. Yeah, it's a Jet City 20-watt tube amp. It's a single single 12-inch speaker.
And you just have it mic'd the right way on it.
Yeah, have it mic'd the right way. And it's by Soldano, so it's like you add a little gain, it gets the natural crunch the way it is.
I know a lot of guys using Soldano. A close friend of mine that I grew up with, Scott Fogelbach, he's in this band called Lion's Daughter, and they're really kind of heavy. They're huge, like Motorhead fans or whatever. But he's always used a Marshall. But lately, I noticed his two rigs are Soldano heads and Marshall cabinets, and then he just uses a AB box kind of deal. But I was going to ask him about those Saldanos because I'm looking for something a little,
They're good. They're
little
good.
meatier, a little low end, you know.
They have the bottom end that these guys don't.
Mm.
And it's been one of the best amp purchases I've made in some time. So
Okay.
I had the misfortune the last show that I played, the preamp tubes were starting to go out and it was getting that death crackle.
Yeah, it's so
As soon
bad,
as soon as the show started. So I had to get a backup amp ready to go. So I just had like a digital, like I think my bandmate had like a digital Marshall amp to plug into.
Yeah.
Just cranked that up and just ran my rig through that. And I was like, all right, guess I'm taking it to my repair guy, D-Town Guitars, by the way, in Doylestown.
D-Town. Glad guys like that are still around.
Yeah. So he's been my number one guy for repair work and even all the guitars that are. Wait, hang on. Let me see if I can actually go the other way.
I thought those were guitars back there.
Yeah, that's the closet of guitars back there. So
okay,
yeah, so,
I can see the headstocks. I can't really tell what they are. Like some of them look like like Ibanez kind of headstocks.
I'm mostly a Gibson guy, so there's a lot of Gibsons back there. So
okay, yeah.
So there's a Flying V hiding back there. There's a Les Paul. There's a Billy Joe Armstrong signature Les Paul Jr. back there, an SG 60s tribute with the P90s, a
nice
resto modded faded gold top Les Paul that's been my number one guitar, and a couple of custom build guitars. One of them is like an Epiphone Les Paul that I put like a Bigsby whammy bar on it. And
nice.
And it got it custom pinstriped and stuff. So it's a nice guitar for me to noodle around with. So I think I have total guitars plus my acoustics and the bass that I own. I think I have about like 13 guitars total.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was getting close. And then I thought, well, I was in a Deftones tribute band. And instead of, every album had a different tuning. So instead of like trying to tune on the fly, I just bought like six guitars because it was like standard, drop D, and then like a half step down, and then C standard, drop C, then a 7-string, and then an 8-string. I was like, oh my gosh, man. Yeah. So I had all these guitars plus my Les Paul, Fender Stratocaster, all these Ibanez's, and then finally I was like, all right, I'm not doing Deftones anymore. So I had to start kind of unloading them.
The lifesaver for me on that was something that the guys in the band I play in, Stillcraft, we all have this. I think Digitech makes a pedal called like the drop pedal, where you can like you turn a knob on it and it down tunes the guitar to whatever tuning you're going to play in.
No way.
Yes.
I mean, does it do it? It's just hard in my brain.
It does it well. It does it well.
Digitally.
I mean,
really?
Yeah. It works well. I strongly suggest farting
so you can just drop it down a half step or a whole step.
I've done shows where like I will go on stage with one of the guitars tuned standard tuning and be like, okay, we're going to go down full step, turn a knob, stomp on the pedal. It's already engaged. Start playing the next song. All right. What's the next one? Okay. It's in half step. Turn it up a knob, or give it a click or whichever.
So it seems way more efficient than buying 9 guitars.
It's so much more efficient. But at the same time though, I mean, I do prefer the authenticity of having the instrument tuned for what the song calls for.
Sure.
But in what we're involved with, it's ideal. It makes the time crunch just that much better.
I was listening to you guys, and I started following you.
Stillcraft,
Spotify.
Right?
Yep. Yep. Went and checked out Stillcraft, and I love it, dude. And you're a really good singer, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a great singer. So, yeah, man. Hopefully, I can entice you to get down there and.
John Sullivan.
Thanks, John.
Love John. Trying to entice Mike to sing for us.
Yeah. I want you to sing. And he wants to know if you're coming down to Huntsville or not. And we kind of went over that. 13 hours is a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
So
maybe in 2020, maybe you'll see me in 2025 somewhere. We'll see. So
yeah. Well, we're gonna do a points.
We might have a couple
next year. So
whether you get me to come out for a points meet or we do you guys had Joe on here, so we can try and get like an exhibition going or
for sure.
Yeah. I'd love to come on out and be part of the show.
Cool. Now yours is a top alcohol. It's not a nitro car, or it is a nitro car?
It's alcohol. It's
okay,
alcohol.
Good. Yeah. Nice. Cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a standard. Standard big block Chevy. I think we were on a 540 big block, 1471 blower, 2-speed power glide, and it boogies down the track.
Sweet. Do you have a weekend warrior hot rod that you cruise around?
No, I've been in the market for one, considering the guys that are my biggest supporters, the Gasket Goons. I think Bubs chimed in earlier. Bubs is a member of the Gasket Goons Club.
What are tell us about it? Who's the
Yeah.
Gasket Goons? I want to hear about it.
Gasket Goons are a 1969 and older hot rod club.
Oh, love it. I would miss
Yeah.
the cutoff. I got a 70 Cutlass, so
Man,
not quite old
so
enough.
they might make an exception. It depends, but but yeah, they're just an all about fun hot rod club.
Love it.
They put on like some of the best rat rod and hot rod shows in this part of the country.
It's
No
so
questions
much
asked.
fun.
So
We do one like out here near me. It's called
Mhm.
Rustoberfest. And
nice.
and this is like the 5th year, and these guys bought all this campground, all this land, and
Mhm.
it's got a giant pavilion. They have all these food vendors come out. They set up a band. They get a couple really killer rockabilly bands to come in, and they poured a giant strip of asphalt.
Mhm.
And so everybody gets drunk and gets out there and just does giant burnouts, and everybody's just hanging out. And man,
Yeah.
it's a good time. So it sounds like he's that kind of fun guy.
Yeah, these
Sounds
guys
like a fun
are
group.
these guys like it literally turns into the set of American Graffiti, basically. Like everybody like I'm not kidding. They dress up like the part, like the guys do the slick back hair, the girls dress up like pinup girls and such. They
Oh, I
pinup
love
girl
it.
contest. You get
Yeah.
the rockabilly bands. There's always like somebody doing the Johnny Cash tributes or the thing I've been lobbying for, trying to get some friends together on, is I've been wanting to do a Social Distortion tribute for some time.
Oh,
So
nice, man.
so, yeah, so I've
That'd
been
be
wanting
really
to do
good.
been wanting to do something that's like that hot rodder punk theme, like with Social Distortion, the Misfits, like stuff
Oh
like
man,
that.
I'm a
that just-
diehard Misfits fan.
yeah, that stuff like that just fits that mold and already fits in with the hot rodding culture that
Yeah.
I know that some car show venues and clubs that do stuff like that, they're missing the boat on it, and they just say like, well, we wanted to be like this thing. It's just like, no, nobody wants to hear like malt shop tunes for 5 hours.
Oh, right.
That
The
generation
generation's
is,
gone, man.
yeah, I know, but I
I hate
mean,
to say it, but it's-
I have a sweet tooth, pun intended, for it. But I mean,
Yeah.
but there's a time and a place where it calls for it, and just with like clubs like the Gasket Goons and Dead Man's Curve, it calls for that rambunctious, like that, like tough, rough and tumble hot rodder kind of vibe.
Yeah,
So,
leathers and jeans and
Yep.
slick back hair. Yeah, cigarettes in the sleeves. That whole thing.
exactly. Yep.
You
Who's
got it,
chomping?
man.
Who's walking around chomping on a cigar? Who's driving in with a nice 49 Mercury or something like that?
Right.
I mean, I definitely like stuff that's like chopped and dropped is what I will gravitate towards, and if it's rusty and crusty, even better. So,
So you're looking for one. So that's kind of what you're.
I'm
you're
looking
for one.
if there's anything it's like, if anybody knows of a dream deal for me, is finding a hearse. I really want to get a hearse for like that. Just fits
I
into
don't
that.
blame you. Particular year, because those things look really cool for all kinds of decades.
Now we're back
Yeah.
to being friends.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
I'll even make you even better, friend. Though I have a blueprint idea of turning a casket into a guitar amp, so that way I can just like bring
There you
it, just
go.
drive to a car show, roll the casket out, open it up, plug in, and play.
dude, no
That's a
way.
dream.
feel it
That's a
out.
dream goal of mine I've had since high school that I still scribble around with. It's like, how do we make this work?
That is, dude, you could totally make that work. You could easily do
Eat-
that. That is
eat your
so
heart.
cool.
Eat your heart out, Chip Foose. I got a better hot rod idea.
My hot rod has a stand-up casket that turns into a guitar cabinet.
It's more like
Yeah, right. With a built-in amp.
It's more like an exhibit. Pimp my ride.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. So that, man, anybody that's watching, everybody out there that's watching, make sure you go out and check out Stillcraft. Is that right? Did I say that
Yep,
right?
That's right. Mhm.
Stillcraft. That is Mike's band. They're really good. Mike is a really good singer. And yeah, I'm following you. So make sure you go on Spotify or YouTube Music and follow these guys, because they're great, man. And I hope you guys come out with another album soon. Hope you guys keep rocking.
We're actually we just finished writing a couple more tunes, and we're gonna try and record and drop a couple new tunes. Fingers crossed before the year is out is the goal, so that way we can have some stuff to hype up for next year for sure.
Cool. Well, hopefully we can this next year get some
Mhm.
purses put together that would entice you enough to make it over those mountains and down south. I wouldn't expect you to
Awesome.
make it to Ferris, Texas, but maybe down to Valdosta or North Alabama or something, you know.
We'll see.
Maybe Kentucky. Kentucky may not be too far.
There
from
you go, Kentucky. I know we've been talking about Bowling Green. We've been talking about that. So.
Yep, Bowling Green, perhaps.
Nice.
So Yeah, we're considering that. So, all right, man. Well, Mike, brother, I appreciate you joining in, dude. You're a super cool guy and really easy to talk to, man. And yeah, I appreciate you coming on in. And we will catch you on the flip side. And dude, stay in touch, and we'll get your phone number and everything. I'll have your we'll swap numbers and get all that information.
Awesome. And for everybody that's watching, be sure to follow the Geroni Racing pages on Facebook, Instagram. I have a fun YouTube channel. I do a whole vlog series at the events that we're at.
Oh,
so,
sweet.
Yeah. So just at Geroni Racing, and you'll find all the fun stuff that we do there. And gonna try and bring some music stuff back over to the vlog sometime soon too. I've kind of distanced myself from it just because I know people want to see the action. Yeah. So with the off season coming up, I might do some music related projects and do some cool video edits as well that I play around with. So
do it, man. Do it. Hey, there's nothing to it but to do it. We only live once. Embrace it, love it, man. And haters gonna hate, lovers gonna love. So you know, I would just say, because I'm right there with you, man. I kind of let the music thing kind of slide by because we've been so focused on the drag racing, and man, it's like depressing. I go in my office and I got some of the most killer gear sitting there and written 100 songs. I'm like, man, I got to get back into it. So I feel your pain, man. So don't let it go. Don't be a lost opportunity. You'll love it.
Of course, man. Of course. Got it.
Brother. Well, thanks for joining us, and you take care, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
You got it, guys. You got it. See you guys.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, guys.
All right, back down in my corner.
All right, you can't bring in a third box on the screen.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you should. Whenever you ask a question, just jump in there.
Yeah, it just really jars up the configuration, shrinks you guys down.
Gotcha.
I just don't want it to be so visually jarring.
Oh, I got you. Visually jarring.
When I saw a road going
like
across the end of a drag strip, I had to ask, what the hell's going on here?
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Check out the map. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, at the end of the drag strip, we have a safety crew down there just kind of telling people where to go. I'm like, get the
exactly
what?
Railroad crossing or something type thing down there. So yeah, it had me confused, but measured it out. And I mean, distance wise, I get it. It's feasible. It's possible. If you hit that road, you got a bigger problem than that road being there.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's just interesting. Hadn't seen that before.
No, I'll have to check it out because now I'm intrigued. I'm absolutely intrigued. I wanted to pull it up on my phone, and then I thought, wow, man, I can't look down while I'm talking to somebody. So
yeah, I know, and I made the mistake of texting you during and everything, but
it's okay.
I know Mike's still in the green room there, but Doug Foley's race experience is still active. DougFoley.com.
DougFoley.com.
Yeah, for $350, you can hop into a dragster and drive it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was another reason I sent you the link because
okay, I got you.
That kind of stuff. So
all right. Well, I'm thinking about going to a school and getting some licenses for a car that I don't own. I mean, maybe I could do that. It seems like to accomplish driving a hot rod or racing a car, from a financial standpoint, it makes more sense to get a license and drive somebody else's car.
Yeah, I really.
But how do guys do that? I mean, don't they have to have their own shit first to
practice
on before they can go drive somebody else's stuff?
Either way, aren't you going to have a license? I mean, whether you're doing it yourself or you're driving somebody else's car, you're going to have a license. So it kind of seems like either way.
Well, either way, you would have to have a license. I'm just wondering, though, is like, if you get a license, expect to get your own shit and get some practice before you go run somebody else's car.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that you get your license and the next morning somebody calls you, hello, Mr. Fierce. Yeah, I got a great deal for you. Come race my car.
What do you got?
Come on out. Race my car.
Yeah, I'm in. Thank you.
I don't think it happens quite like that. So, yeah, you got to get a little bit of something.
Unless you're natural like me.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
I don't either.
And that's still thunder from all the racers out there. Like, it doesn't work like that. It takes years and years and years.
Yes, that's my main reason why I'm against you racing at ADRL events.
I'm not racing at ADRL events. That's not my plan. That is not.
I don't want you coming out your rookie race and whooping Bubba's ass, and then I got to hear about it.
And then I'm going to change the rules to even more no rules.
I got to add weight or something like that. I don't even understand.
Yeah, we were at ADRL's adding weight. How come? I don't know. Fears was in there.
Yeah, Adam said so.
Adam said so.
He doesn't know why, but this is the new combination setup.
Oh my gosh. Well, another good podcast.
Yes, indeed. Another one.
Mike is a really, really cool guy, and
yeah.
I wish he lived closer. I was hoping that he was going to be able to make it down there to Huntsville, but 13 hours is a bit of a drive, and I get it. So
no doubt about that. We'll see what we can do maybe next year about getting a little closer to him.
That's right.
More to come out about that later.
Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. It is the ADRL Podcast on Thursday nights. It's the only night we have the ADRL Podcast, so I won't say that anymore.
Right.
And we want to thank our sponsors, Renegade Racing Fuel, Fuel Tech, and Chris Duncan Race Cars. And perhaps maybe sooner than later or next year, Extreme Raceway Park. XRP. Just throwing that out there. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got nothing else. PA, got anything?
Nope, I'm cooked almost literally.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This stupid no AC thing is for the nerds.
I know, I bet, man.
I don't know how Pioneer people did it. What the hell were they thinking?
No, they were tough.
How are we able to live today for people living with no AC back then?
Because they were hard men.
Yeah. God,
Yeah,
such
that's the difference.
Me and my AC and Facebook.
I think most of the hardness of humans in our society have been bred out and it's been what do they call it? Mass.
There's not much of an incentive for it anymore.
We don't really need it, right? It is the what do you call it? The creature comforts per se. Yeah. These days, it's you don't need really to be hard. You don't have to farm your own shit. You just eat food with vaccines jabbed in it and shit.
Let's all keep hoping those creature comforts keep going. I can attest they don't always work. And when they don't, chaos ensues.
Chaos ensues. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Everybody have a good weekend. I am heading out to Flying H this weekend.
I don't know if you saw my text.
I did not see your text. Oh, I did see your text. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, I got a hotel room. It either rains or it doesn't. I don't know. Don't care. I'm only 2 hours away, so easy enough.
Yeah. Nope, I hear you there.
2.5 hours.
Looks like Saturday's going to get tricky for them.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, at least they've gotten qualifying in and they get a couple rounds in.
I'd much rather see a race happen than not happen for sure, especially something like that. So,
yeah,
we know how the weather can be here in Missouri. Can change in a minute. So
I'm excited to see the crew, man. I can't wait to see Frankie and Cole and Brandon and kind of make my way around and go toss shit to Keith Haney a little bit. And
Cole who? I was just trying to save Clyde some typing.
Oh, Cole who? Right.
Sure he's got his Texas tea. I don't.
Yeah. You probably already hit Cole who typed in there. He's like, "Damn it, Adam! You already took my shit." No, he'll think of something way wittier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'll come up with something else. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace and chicken.